Nearly 3 decades ago, I was a teacher. I started my professional journey from a school, from a classroom. I was supposedly a very good teacher who was always present for her students, loved them, loved being around them. My lesson plans used to be excellent. My timelines used to be precise. One day, after I finished teaching a lesson, a mathematics lesson in linear equations, I just solved a few examples and then started asking questions. Most of the students started giving good answers, the ones that I had expected. Just then, one child raised her hand and she said, "Ma'am, where are we going to use this concept in real life?" Trust me, I didn't have an answer to that question. In that moment, I didn't have an answer. And I realized maybe I had been teaching answers, but not meanings. From that day on till today, when I'm working with and training adults, I make sure that every concept I teach, I'm able to relate it with the real life context. That question did not just change that lesson, it changed the teacher in me. As a child, I used to ask a lot of questions. And as I grew, it did not just remain a habit, it became a way of thinking. What if I tell you all that asking the right questions in the right way at the right time can change the way people think? It can lead to ideas, it can lead to innovations, it can lead to solutions, it can even make you happy. How do I know? Well, I've spent more than 25 years asking questions in the boardrooms, in the classrooms, across countries and across continents. I've been working with hundreds of institutions, asking them questions every day. And I ask several questions when I moderate the discussions on various panels. When I'm asking an institution a question like, how do you know that you're preparing your students to become future ready? They'll immediately show me something, some data, some reports, some results, some dashboards, which really look excellent. And the moment I ask my next question, how do you know that all this that you're showing is able to inculcate the right skills in them and is able to give you the lifelong learning? The room goes quiet. Not because people don't care, but because nobody had ever asked them this question before. As a child, I told you, I used to ask a lot of questions. The other day, I was telling my father about this talk today, and he pulled out this picture and he said, "You always used to ask a lot of questions. Just look into your eyes. The day this picture was taken, you asked me, why do I need my photo on the school identity card when people can see me?" So, uh, as children, we ask questions freely. Why is the sky blue? Why is it happening like this? Why is it not happening like that? But as we all grow up, our questions begin to shrink. And our questions become something like, what will others think about me? Will they accept this? Should I be friends with them? Is it this going to be on my exams? We actually stop asking questions. Or probably we stop questioning what already exists. The other day, I was with my daughter and her friends, all 19 and 20-year-olds, and I asked them, just casually, I said, "For how long would you watch a video to decide whether it is worth your time?" One said 10 seconds. Another one said, maybe less than that. I said, okay. What if something doesn't interest you immediately? What do you do? They said, we move to the next one. And that made me realize when we get used to moving on so quickly, we actually stop staying long enough to question something deeply. I remember in the year 2016, we were trying to build a framework for school education. It's known as the Academic Audit Framework now, which is being used in hundreds of schools across the world. When we started doing it, we knew why we want to do. We knew what we are trying to fix, but we were still struggling to find our why. So we start asking questions from the schools, questions like, how do you plan your curriculum? How do you train your teachers? How do you know what is important for the school? The answers that we got, they were good, they were really good. But then none of them told us what truly mattered. So we went back and we changed the question. This time we reached out to thousands of teachers across borders and we asked them one single question: why did you choose to become a teacher? And for that question, the answers that we got were honest, I must say that. And the answers were like, because it's a convenient job, because my child can study in the same school, because it's a respectable profession. Very painfully, I need to tell you, very few, just a handful said, I chose to become a teacher because I love teaching. And that is when we got our answer and we understood what we are doing and how we are supposed to do it. That question told me, when we are trying to discover something, it entirely depends on the kind of question that we ask. And this is not limited to just one profession. It matters in every conversation, every professional, personal conversation. When someone comes and tells me, I've read your book, I would never ask, did you like it? I would always say, which part of that book really stayed with you? So I think the question only tells you what is going to be the outcome. Now, the problem is how to ask the right questions. What is the right way to ask the questions? Uh, I have spent 25 years discovering that there is only one secret formula to it. There is only one type of a question which, if asked right, is going to give you the right results. And I want to share that secret formula with you all today. I call it wait. Want to know. Ask only when you really want to know. You want to understand. Assumptions down. Do not assume where the answer is going to lead. Invite. Instead of instead of just knowing what kind of answer you're going to get, it's better to give space to the person who's giving you the answer. And tone clean. No sarcasm. Let me tell you how it works. Imagine a manager and one of his employees, he misses a deadline. Now the manager comes and says, how did you miss the deadline and why did you delay the project? Now what happens? Is that a question? Technically, yes. But the employee, what does he hear? He hears only blame. And instead of giving the answer, he starts giving excuses. Now, if the same manager waits and says, now since we've already missed the deadline, can you please tell me what went wrong so that next time we don't make the same mistake? Imagine what's going to happen. The employee will certainly open up and he might share probably a challenge or a bottleneck that the manager wasn't even aware of. Let me give you another example. A parent and his teenager child, a very responsible child. One day, the child comes home late in the evening and the parent says, do you have any idea what time it is? What will happen? The child hears a blame, an accusation, and a sarcasm, and he shuts down. The same parent waits and says, hey, you're always back on time. What happened? Is everything okay? Would you like to share what went wrong? What will happen now? The child opens up, isn't it? Let me try something with you all. Take a moment and think of any one question that you would have asked somebody in the last 2 days, yesterday or today, maybe in at your workplace or at home. Any question? Okay. Now tell me, were you really trying to understand the answer or were you trying to get a specific answer that you wanted? I can see the smiles. And this difference makes all the difference. So it's very, very critical that we all wait and then ask, not as hesitation, not as silence, but as a practice everywhere. The hardest questions we avoid, and what can really stop you from asking the right question. Do you know that? There are only two things that will always stop you from practicing wait. And those two things are these: the fear of not sounding right. You feel you might sound stupid. And the habit of listening to reply, not to understand. These two habits need to be dropped, and wait needs to be practiced if you really want to master the art of asking the right questions. There is one more thing that has taken me years to realize, and that is the hardest person in this whole world to ask the right questions is yourself. How many of us ask ourselves every day, what are my priorities? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What makes me really happy? So, whenever you face a challenge, what happens instantly? We'll say, why is this happening to me? How many of us say, what can I learn from this? When you have to start something new, maybe take a risk, start a new business, think of a new innovative idea, the first question that crosses your mind is, what if I fail? Can't you instead ask a question, what might I gain if I try? So, the questions that we ask ourselves are actually the most important questions. And we have to keep doing that. You know, we all are very good when asking others, but when it comes to looking inward, we all are again very excellent at ignoring that. So, start with yourself, start practicing wait, and you will see the miracles. You will see the results that it gives you. That student of mine 25 years ago who asked me that question, if today she was sitting here in that room, I would have asked her one question. What made you ask that question the other day when everyone else was comfortable with the answers? And that, my dear friends, is your takeaway. Start practicing wait, leave those two habits, and master the art of asking questions and make this world a peaceful and a happy place. Thank you.